All right, folks, so today I'm going to show you the difference between a $49,000 car and a Rivian, a $75,000 EV. Now, both of these are excellent vehicles, but I'm going to show you why the Rivian costs $26,000 more than the brand new Model Y Juniper. This is going to be an excellent comparison to see if this is worth the upgrade. I own a Rivian. I absolutely love it. I own a Tesla. I absolutely love it, and I'm going to break down the features between both of them. So technically, this is a 2026 model year Model Y. This is the Quicksilver color, which is $2,000. $2,000 wheel upgrade. It has the acceleration boost. I've already just mentioned $6,000 in upgrades. Plus, it has full self-driving. Now, if full self-driving is important to you, that is one area where Rivian lacks right now. Tesla is absolutely the leader in the United States as far as full self-driving. This can do 90 to 95% of the driving and get you to a location, and it's really impressive. And even though this is an ultra luxurious vehicle, it's fast, it's efficient, has a ton of space, 3 comfortable rows, their self-driving technology is essentially non-existent. It's basically a lane keep assist and dynamic cruise control like almost every car comes with nowadays. Now, this specific R1S is an all-terrain Tri-Max Ascend package. It has Rivian's autonomy platform, meaning it does have the capability for autonomous driving. It's just not quite there yet, but that should be coming later this year or early 2026. The exterior color is El-Cap Granite. It has the Max Pack, and it is the tri-motor all-wheel drive with the 20-inch all-terrain dark wheels. Now, when you put these massive all-terrain wheels on it, you do lose range. You go from 371 miles of range down to about 310 miles of range, which is excellent. And Rivian, from my experience, is really good at delivering on their range. Now, in terms of ergonomics, in my opinion, these are the 2 best cars on the market in terms of ergonomics. They use space incredibly well. So you have this nice frunk area up here in the Model Y. It also has a drain plug down here, so you could fill this with ice because you go fishing and do whatever, you know, buy fish at the Whole Foods market, and then you put them on ice because you're a Whole Foods person. So you have that. Then you come over to the Rivian. The Rivian has even more storage, as it should, because it's a massive vehicle. Think, there are cars like the BMW iX. There's nothing like this. This is so well thought out and packaged, and I can't give Rivian enough credit for that. Also, this is a Gen 2 vehicle. They were able to cut wiring out of this, up to a mile of wiring per vehicle. They've made the packaging more efficient while adding features. So you have this little space up here, which the Gen 1 vehicles did not have. This removes, so you have a rubber side, and then you have a luxury side. Look at that. We got luxury, we got rubber, we have it all. And then down here, you have storage area for your mobile charging cable, which a Rivian comes with, first aid kit, and you have this compressor cable. So there's an air compressor built into the car. You can fill up all of your tires, or if someone's flat on the side of the road, you're an EV owner, right? You're a good person. You're here to save the planet. And that's why Rivian put that in here, so you could change the world one tire at a time. This also has a drain plug, I think. Yep, drain plug confirmed. Drain plug right there. So we got the drain plug in here. So both vehicles have drain plugs and excellent usage of space. Now, back to the Model Y here. Another huge compartment down below for storage, so that's really nice. Also, I would like to apologize. In a previous video, I said this doesn't sit flush. I flipped it over, and then it sits flush. So look, we all make mistakes. I just leave mine in the video, so you can see that I'm not a robot. I'm a human being. We're going to come back to the rear of the Rivian. Now, this is a big difference. This is like a BMW X5 back here with the split hatch. I really like this because you think, for you moms out there, you're doing grocery runs, you're doing all these things, and when you load things into the back, you don't want to worry about it falling out. So you have this that stays up, which is nice. You press this, and then it's a manual release down. But we just showed you the rear storage in the Y. Here's the rear storage in the Rivian. So you have a little bit, but you can remove this, and there's a spare tire, and if you don't get the spare, then this is just more extra storage space. So again, really efficient use of space. And I just mentioned that it has an air compressor, and that is located right here. So you can see this slides open. And then you have your air compressor. You can start it up and you can move your PSI. So you can set your PSI to whatever you want to. So maybe you're pumping up a basketball at 13 PSI. You can set it to that. And then up here, you have the 1500 watt max, and then the cigarette lighter there, automatic folding seats. So I'll tap this. Didn't know that was for that row. Okay, we all make mistakes. And then for these rear seats, if you want to just fold the headrest down, it's like that. And then if you want to fold the whole thing down, it's also that button. And that folds flat, and you just have a ton of space. On top of that, this is also movable. So you can actually move the second row back and forth, which gives you more usability for the third row. So now I'm going to show you space in the third row. Now keep in mind, Tesla does make a 3-row SUV. It's the Model X. They also make the 3-row Model Y. That is really a tight third row. This is much more usable. I wish that they would release an R1S with captain's chairs. I think people would lose their minds about that. And the other thing we need to talk about that the R1S is doing that literally no other EV is doing as well is depreciation. The R1S, you really can't find them for under $70,000. They start at $75,000. So you think of what a BMW X7 or a Mercedes GLS is worth 1, 2, or 3 years after, it's 50% off. This is not doing that. And that shows that the market wants an efficient 3-row SUV with all this technology, and Rivian is killing it. Now, I just moved this seat to a comfortable position to be sitting in the front. Now, I'm 5'12", so I have a comfortable amount of room here if I were to go on a long trip. Now we'll move into the second row. And you can see it's good, but it's a little tight. So let's actually bump it back a step. Okay, so there it's bumped back a step. A little tight, if I'm being totally honest, but let's see how the third row is. Oh, all right. Oh, the third row is actually the most comfortable row. The third row is kind of more comfortable than even the second row. So you can actually use all the space and all the seating that is in this thing. Now, in the third row, you still have this panoramic roof here, and this has the electrochromatic glass, which is a really cool feature. I'll show you how to activate that in a second. But you have this storage space down in here for your cell phone and a USB-C outlet to charge your phone, all while having a little vent here for some third row amenities here in the Adventurous Forever R1S. They have the recycled, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like some recycled plastic suede headliner here. So it's not Alcantara, but it has the same appearance. And I love that. I'm a massive fan of that. Let's jump into the front. Now, you may have noticed your boy's a little dressed up right now, and that's because I'm wearing INTOTHEAM's Relaxed Button Up. This is one of their, I think it's called the green leaf pattern, has 4-way stretch material on it. Very comfortable. You look like you're hanging out. And also, look, if you want to loosen it up, if it's Friday afternoon and you want to loosen it up while you're in the office, loosen it up. Sit at your desk like, when your manager comes for your TPS reports on Friday afternoon, sit at your desk like this with the hamburger meat hanging out, okay? So go to INTOTHEAM.com, use code Gjeebs at checkout, and you can stack my 10% code with any other promotion that they currently have going on. These things are really great. You could go to the golf course, you could go to the bar, you could go home, you could sit in a padded room alone and wear this. INTOTHEAM.com, code Gjeebs, 10% off. INTOTHEAM, thank you for sponsoring the channel. Now, what both Rivian and Tesla do extremely well is software. Tesla's the king, okay? And that's fine. But Rivian provides something different. Rivian's a mix for a car company of Patagonia and Porsche because they use, everything's like really well thought out in here. Like little tags like this, like the Adventurous Forever. And this is also a really classy interior with the cross stitching. It's really beautiful. The Rivian logo there, the insignia, and then Rivian written across here. And even look at the floor mats in this thing. Like these, it's just a really enjoyable place to be in. Has heated and cooled seats, but then you look at the graphics here. This is powered by Snapdragon's digital chassis. Unreal Engine did all of the graphic design in this. So if I want to change drive modes, if I go to sport mode, for example, lower ride height, you can see it switches the graphics, and everything is accurate to your vehicle. So this has the dark out package with the lettering on the outside. It shows the wheels, the brakes, everything is perfect. We can go into snow mode, gives you that really cool graphic. All-purpose mode gives you that graphic. So I just think they've done a really nice job with the graphics here. I will say it is kind of confusing, and I own a Rivian, and I'm still like, okay, where do I go to change the mirrors and things? Like, you have to remember to click your profile to change the steering wheel and mirror angles. So there are some things that are clunky, but overall, the updates that they have made to this vehicle, made to my vehicle, a Gen 1, and having the capability to, you get a notification on your phone, and it says, hey, there's new features available on your car, connect to Wi-Fi and update, and I absolutely love that about this vehicle. The other thing they've upgraded on the Gen 2 vehicles is the cameras. These cameras have the most clarity of any camera in a car ever, according to their press release. You have the bird's eye 360 view here, and then you have the front view and rear view here. So they just do a really nice job with the cameras on this car. But let's go back into the Model Y. Now, the Model Y, again, this is $26,000 less than the Rivian. So when you come in here, the materials are not as, I don't want to say as well thought out, but they're not as luxurious as the Rivian as you would expect. Now, on top of here, this being a launch edition, it does have the double stitch leather here. We have an Alcantara dash, but like the roof liner is very, I don't know, it's like a Nissan Sentra, you know, it's just, everyone comes with just tan roof liner. I know a lot of people would love to have black. I think if Tesla offered a $2,000 upcharge to put an Alcantara roof liner in the 3 and the Y, people would go berserk for that. They would leave their wives, they'd leave their husbands, they'd leave their children for an Alcantara roof liner. So if anyone from Tesla is listening, I think that that would be a great option. Now, where Tesla takes it to a whole nother level is their self-driving technology. It's very good. There's just no one else out there that's shipping cars that have this type of capability. And the other thing that I think is possible is I could see this specific Model Y, because of the cameras in it and because the front-facing camera, all that stuff, and because of the screen in the back, I could see you getting into the back of this and it taking you places within the next year or two. And I think that is remarkable. Because when we talk about autonomous driving, in my opinion, autonomous driving is not you sitting here and having to pay attention to the road. Autonomous driving is me working in the back seat while my car is taking me somewhere. That is ultimately what counts. Now, sitting here in full self-driving supervised, which is what it is right now, it's like in training mode. It's very good. It's very cool to see what the car is capable of and handle sticky situations. But if you're looking for autonomous driving, you have to go with Tesla right now over Rivian. Rivian's is coming, but it's not here yet. So on the interior, you do have the heated and cooled seats, but everything is just a little bit more toned down. They're stamping these out. There's not as much customization that you can make on the interiors of these. The one upgrade that I will say is excellent is getting a sunshade. This one is from Vion. This one, in my opinion, fits the best. It's very tight across the top. There's a few clips, and it's just, I don't know, they're excellent. So I have a discount code. I think these are like $59 plus 10% off plus free shipping. And they have a few other accessories on their website that they specialize in. So I highly recommend Vion, and I'll have that linked in the description. So the big difference here, and again, you have buttons on here that show the cameras as well. Cameras in the Model Y, also excellent. The one thing that this lacks, though, is a 360 view of the vehicle. So I think that that could be more well done, but let me show you, some of the parking capabilities. So on the screen here, you can see it's highlighting a bunch of different parking spots. So if I click this right here, let's click this one right here, and then I'll hit start. The car is going to go and park itself. So if you're someone that's not comfortable with backing into a space, or it's a really tight space, you are able to let the car go ahead and park itself. And think about this. Now, full self-drive, I say the car costs 48 grand, but full self-driving is $8,000 or it's $99 a month. I recommend paying the $99 a month first to kind of test it out. And then if you want to spend the $8,000, that's great. But keep in mind that it does not transfer with you to your next vehicle unless Tesla has like a transfer period open. So there you go. The car parks itself. Could I have done it faster? Probably. But if you're not comfortable, you're in a tight space, that's a really nice feature. That's part of the full self-driving. There's also things like summon to where I can hit the button and the car will drive to me. So that's really nice. Now let's look at the space in the rear of the Model Y. I'm going to get into my comfortable seating position here. I'll say it's about there. Let's look at the space. Yeah. There's a ton of space in the rear of this thing. You also have the display back here, which you can do like Netflix, Hulu, and you can connect Bluetooth devices to that. So you're listening to something differently than the people we're listening to up front. So yeah, it's a very comfortable place to be. Heated seats in the back. Yeah, it's really nice back here. And they've added that silver layer to the roof, so the heat rejection is even better if you don't happen to have a sunshade. So I just think that the redesign on this thing, the big things were the suspension and the quietness inside of the cabin, and they've absolutely killed that. This is an excellent all-around vehicle. There's nothing as efficient, nothing as quick and ergonomic as this thing. The Model Y is the best-selling car for a reason, and they've just simply improved it. Now, the other thing that you may want to improve is your online data, and that's why this video is brought to you by Delete Me. Delete Me is a hands-free subscription service that will remove your personal information that's being sold online. Since I started using Delete Me 2 years ago, they have scanned thousands of listings with my information like phone number and address and removed it from 28 sites, saving me a ton of time and keeping my information private. Delete Me starts by having you fill out a profile of your name, common spellings, your phone number, address, or previous addresses you've lived at to find your information that data brokers are selling. These data brokers organize your data and then license it to sell to other data brokers or organizations who can profit from your data. Delete Me will generate your first report, and it can take a few days all the way up to a month to get your information removed from the internet. The best part is they keep removing your information every 3 months when it pops up on websites. Plus, as more data brokers' sites pop up, Delete Me will add them to their list and make sure your information is removed. I just received my 8th report showing where my information has been removed from and where they are working on getting it removed. So Delete Me is offering Gjeebs viewers 20% off Delete Me US consumer plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/Gjeebs20 and use promo code Gjeebs20 at checkout, and there's also a link for international plans. Delete Me, thank you for sponsoring this video. Now, this wouldn't be a fair review if we didn't drive both vehicles. The big difference here, the Rivian has an air suspension. It has much better off-road capability than a Model Y. So we are going to see what the ride quality is like, and we are going to do a decibel meter sound test to see who has the quieter cabin. Driving the Rivian R1T. Right off the bat, I want to talk about something that's a little surprising here, and that's the sound system. We were just listening to Post Malone, that one line where he says, "I pulled up to the house with some big butts." Some big butts. That's women with large booties. That's what he's referring to. So if we click this here, you can see it says Post Malone, wow, Dolby Atmos. So some songs say it and some songs don't. That one does, that one does, that one does. Shout out Mac Miller. But anyways, the sound system in here, it's good. It's not as good as the Model Y, surprisingly. There's a lot of rattles when you start to turn it up and really get that bass hitting. When you're shaking the big butts in here, it shakes the whole car. So I'm a little shocked by that. They can also improve it with over-the-air updates, so maybe they will do that. But right off the bat, that is one thing I noticed. The Y being significantly cheaper, it has a better sound system. Model 3 does too. The other thing you're going to be wondering about is the air suspension. How does that feel? So the nice thing about the air suspension is you are able to tune it to be exactly how you want it to be. So right now we're in standard ride height, but you can put it into high mode once you get below a certain speed. There it is. So we can go into high mode now. So that gives us 12.7 inches of clearance, and that's kind of nice. And then it says 45 miles per hour, it'll adjust, but it's technically 48 miles per hour when the car will lower back down. So now we're in high mode, and that is nice. So there's a dirt lot there I could just drive in if I wanted to. Maybe I will. So overall, driving this thing is really nice. Great visibility, even out of the back of this thing. We have the grass is opaque. Look at show the camera, show the sun. You can just see a little circle up there. So that's kind of cool. The other thing we're going to do is a decibel meter test. So I'm going to take this on a section of highway and do a direct comparison to the Model Y and this. So that'll be useful, hopefully, to you. We'll see. Other things, the cameras in this. We'll show you the cameras. So if I click here, look at the refresh rate, if that's what it's called. It is so smooth how everything looks and warps around you. You can just really high quality. And then the above 360 view, also really well done. So yeah, the cameras in this thing are excellent. It also has just the dash cam is built in. It looks like it's not set up on here. Again, this is a demo vehicle, so it's not set up. You know, you can record things. So if an accident happens in front of you, or if you leave your car and there's weird things happening, if someone tries to break in, it records all of that. And both Tesla and Rivian are leading the way in that department. Features that I absolutely love. And we'll jump in the Y in a second here, and I'll give you my thoughts, but this has far more off-roading capability and things like that. So if you're going to be taking this off-road, it does have like a camp mode where the car self-levels itself. So if you're on like a curb or something and the car's sitting like this, when you put it in the camp mode, it'll level the vehicle out so you can sleep on a flat surface. They're really leaning into the adventurous, what does it say, adventurous forever over there. Yeah, I just think the branding on Rivian is cool. I think the build quality is good. I think the choices and customization for the vehicles are much better than Tesla. That's part of what you're paying for. And the materials are nice. The steering wheel I've always felt could be a little thicker. This feels like a cheaper, like a Ford Fusion steering wheel. Shout out to the Ford Fusion. But overall, it's a solid package. Let's bust open the Squirt. I haven't had a Squirt in years, but oh my God, that's nice. I'll get you one when we get home. I apologize. I'm drinking in front of my cameraman and didn't even offer him one. That's what it's like to work for the Gjeebs organization. We are a for-profit, we are non-profit sharing, and we abuse our employees at the Gjeebs organization. But we bring you quality content. And look, that comes at a cost to some. So that's just what it is. Over some train tracks here. I don't know. It was nice. The other thing, there's a small, these are the off-road tires, and there is a tiny hum from the tires. Here's what I will say about the tires, though. If you go with there's kind of no winning with the tires. If you go with the tires that are the street tires, which I have on my R1T, those cost $600 per tire. $2,400 to replace all 4 tires on your vehicle. I don't know what these cost. I guess I'll put it on the bottom of the screen. Because these weigh so much, these are just over 7,000 pound vehicles. They shred through tires. I don't drive like a moron in my Rivian R1T, and I'm going to get 20 to 24,000 miles out of them if I'm lucky. That's just what it is. That's the reality of it. And that's expensive. That's every year to 2 years, depending on how much you drive, replacing your tires. Now, and the other problem is, in that 22-inch segment, there's only like 3 tires you can buy. So you're kind of limited. So just something to note. But if you're buying an $80,000 to $100,000 car, you shouldn't be worried about spending $2,400 on tires. If you're worried about that, that's going to push your budget. Shouldn't be buying this vehicle. I know you want it because it's nice and it's pretty and shiny, but there's no reason to stress yourself out over unnecessary car payments. Too many people do that. All right, so we're going to get up to 70 miles per hour. There we go. So it looks like 54, 55, 56 decibels in the R1S. So 54, 55, 56. Let's go jump in the Model Y and see if that is any different. You can hear some wind noise in here, but ultimately pretty quiet, pretty nice place to be in. There's just some rattles coming from the dash up here over certain bumps. So I think that could be maybe a little tighter for manufacturing in the future. But yeah, let's jump in the Model Y. All right, so we're looking for between 54 and 56 is what the R1S was. So let's get it up to 70 and see what it is. All right, so it is significantly quieter in the Model Y. Now, like I said in the R1S, it's not loud in there, but it's just a testament to how well they've done with the 360 acoustic glass in this, the seals, everything. They've done an excellent job. The other thing that we were just testing is the sound system, and this is much sharper. Like, I don't know what to say. I feel like Rivian could really step up in that department. It's harder in a larger SUV like that has so much space. But this isn't, there's a ton of space in this, you know, it goes all the way to the trunk. It's a fully open cabin. So it really is a testament to the value of the Model Y and the new standard of build quality that they have in this thing is really well done. What you notice though in the Model Y is it's a tighter space. It's not as big of a vehicle. It does have sportier handling with it being springs and not an air suspension. I think they've done a nice job with the air suspension. It has a sportier feel to it. But then again, you just have this screen here. There's no screen in front of you. The screen in front of you in the Rivian is nice. So everything is a trade-off, but people will be cross-shopping these to see what the difference is. Two very different cars, but they both do things significantly better. Now, the better video is obviously the Model X versus the Rivian R1S. But you could essentially take the same technology that's in this Y and expand it a little bit in the X. I think they're going to be refreshing the X sometime this year, but it's well overdue, and I would take a Rivian R1S over an X almost any day. And that's mainly because I like how the look of it is in comparison to the X. Now, the other thing I did is I took this Model Y to a dynamometer to measure the horsepower of it. So if you want to check that video out and see how much power this thing makes with the acceleration boost, click this video right here. It's pretty interesting to see the results, and I compare it to the old model as well.